أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد. Thank you, Brother Abu Nur al-Huda, for that very nice introduction. I'm the only a storyteller. I just tell the story, and the analysis should be made by Abu Nur al-Huda, inshallah, later on. Now, we continue with the story of Musa and Fir'aun, and as Abu Nur al-Huda mentioned very eloquently, the lessons we learn from these for our contemporary life is up to every single individual to find for themselves, because we usually are caught in many, many different situations which are not identical from one person to another. And it's very important that we know what to do in every situation, and that we find it from these stories, how these people behaved in certain situations, in similar circumstances. Now, if you remember, we said that after the magicians were defeated, Musa wanted to move Banu Israel out, but Pharaoh didn't allow them, out of arrogance and out of a very clear defiance against God. He was actually waging a war against God. He knew that Musa is from God, coming from God, yes.
Could you just remind us which ayah we were referring to?
Now, in the last lesson. Yeah, last lesson we were referring to ayat of Surah A'raf. The ayat number were, it came just itself, 133 onwards. فَأَرْسَلْنَا عَلَيْهِمُ الطُّوفَانَ وَالْجَرَادَ. And many signs were sent to Pharaoh to show that if they do not, he does not allow Banu Israel to leave, the final punishment will come, but he didn't take heed. The flood came, the frogs, lice, locusts, blood, all these year after year, and it didn't take short time, years, several years passed. And Musa was just telling every time that if you allow us to leave, this would be removed and everyone will be saved. However, Pharaoh, as I said, he had waged a war, literally he had waged a war on Allah, and this shows how people may become foolish sometimes because of the power that they get. Now, before continuing this story, there are two side stories mentioned in the Quran which are very interesting, and we inshallah quickly should look into those two stories. One is the story of a cousin of Musa, Qarun, and the other is the story of a cousin of Pharaoh, and that's Mu'min al Pharaoh. Very interestingly, two very prominent people and cousins to Musa and Pharaoh, and the Quran tells us how differently they behaved and how, of course, one is commended, the other is criticized. Now, the cousin of Musa alayhi salam is Qarun in Surah Qasas, verses 76 onwards. Inna Qaruna kana min qawmi Musa. Qarun was from Banu Israel. He was from Qawm Musa. فَبَغَى عَلَيْهِمْ. He oppressed them. He transgressed against them. In fact, he became an accomplice of Pharaoh. And this is always the case. The oppressor finds accomplice among the oppressed, gives them promotion, gives them money, everything they need, position, so that they could suppress by their own hand the people who are oppressed. This is always the technique. And Qarun actually had become an accomplice of Pharaoh. And that's why
this is one of the lessons.
Yeah, one of the lessons. It always happens. And usually, specifically in two places, Allah mentions that Musa was sent to Qarun and Fir'aun and Haman, the three. And when he wants to mention the destruction in Surah Ankabut, he mentions Qarun first. وَقَارُونَ وَفِرْعَوْنَ وَهَامَانَ وَلَقَدْ جَاءَهُم مُوسَى بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ فَاسْتَكْبَرُوا. So all of them were arrogant. Fir'aun, Qarun and Haman. And in Surah Qasas as well, we have that he was sent to Qarun and Musa and Haman. Now, here it says, إِنَّ قَارُونَ كَانَ مِنْ قَوْمِ مُوسَى فَبَغَى عَلَيْهِمْ. And what else? وَآتَيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْكُنُوزِ مَا إِنَّ مَفَاتِحَهُ لَتَنُوءُ بِالْعُصْبَةِ أُولِي الْقُوَّةِ. We had given him so much treasures. And of course, he had gathered it through oppression, isn't it? He had gathered it through being an accomplice of Fir'aun. But why God says we had given him? Can anyone tell me why God says we had آتَيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْكُنُوزِ مَا إِنَّ مَفَاتِحَهُ? That even the keys of those treasures, the treasures were kept in chests, in boxes, in safes, and the keys for those safes, لَتَنُوءُ بِالْعُصْبَةِ أُولِي الْقُوَّةِ. A very powerful group of men, it was difficult for them to carry those keys. This is one of the explanations. The other explanation is that, no, the whole treasures were so huge that they couldn't carry it. A big number of people could not carry it with all their, of course, camels and horses and these things. Now, anyone knows why Allah says, آتَيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْكُنُوزِ? We had given him.
All rizq is from Allah. There's no one else that can do it.
Yeah. Even the things that we acquire through wrong means is again from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, we could have, if this was our rizq, we could have been given it through right means. But because we hurry and we usually are خلق الإنسان من عجل, we are in hurry, we try to get it from wrong means. So آتيناه من الكنوز ما إن مفاتحه لتنوء بالعصبة أولي القوة. Now what Qarun was doing, you can imagine. For several years, we don't know, 10 years more, Musa was battling with Fir'aun, convincing him to allow them to leave. And Fir'aun was battling with Banu Israel, convincing them to isolate Musa. This is what he wanted to do, to isolate Musa. He didn't touch Musa because he was afraid of Musa. He wanted to isolate Musa, and he used many techniques. One of them was anyone believing in Musa will kill their children. And how do they know who believes in Musa, who doesn't believe in Musa? Qarun would tell them, isn't it? Qarun is the fifth column there. Living with Banu Israel, he has all his palaces there, he has all his wealth there. So, إِذْ قَالَ لَهُ قَوْمُهُ لَا تَفْرَحْ. His people, that's Musa of course. قَوْمُهُ, his people. Musa, his staunch followers, his very close followers, they told him, do not be happy out of limits. Farah is to be happy out of limits, is to be happy, unduly happy. This was, and unduly happy is when you get happy about what you have in this world and forget Allah. This is undue happiness. Inna Allah la yuhibbul farahin. Allah doesn't like this attitude, that you get happy for this world, forget Allah. Otherwise, happiness is very good, of course. We always try to be happy, but this happiness, that we find happiness in the world, forgetting Allah, this is what Allah doesn't like, of course. And this is what Allah has given you. Okay, you have acquired it from whatever means. وَابْتَغِ فِي مَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ دَارَ الْآخِرَةِ. Seek Darul Akhirah with it. Spend it. You have acquired it because you have worked for Fir'aun. Okay, but keep some for yourself and do infaq. وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. لَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا means, what is our nasib is share. What is our share from dunya? Of course, some exegetes say that you do some for akhirah and for some for this world. But did really Qarun needed some advice to do not forget your share in this world, be happy, have pleasure? Is this what they were advising him? If you go to a mystic, to a sort of zahid, yes, you say la tansa nasibaka min ad-dunya, means use the world as well, do not be completely isolated for next world. But you don't go to Qarun saying do not forget your share from this world. So what does that mean? La tansa nasibaka min ad-dunya. Any idea?
Is it making it clear that dunya is only part of it, share?
Yes, this is what that you have to somehow think about akhirah, and also you have your worldly pleasures, your worldly life. But this is one explanation. Another explanation is that in this dunya, your share, your real nasib, is to acquire akhirah, isn't it? You are forgetting it. You are forgetting your real mission in this world. This is another possible explanation. وَأَحْسَنْ كَمَا أَحْسَنَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكَ. Allah has given you all this wealth. He has done good to you. Do good to others. Now, this shows that his wealth was not completely acquired out of unlawful means. That he had something that Allah had actually honored him with all those things. Now, we want to cut the story short. He said, first of all, he said, this is not given to me by God. I have acquired it. Why God doesn't give you? Why does God doesn't give others? I have been clever. I have done it. قَالَ إِنَّمَا أُوتِيتُهُ عَلَىٰ عِلْمٍ عِنْدِي. I had the knowledge, I had the talent, and I could gather this wealth. And this is always something that all of us think, that is due to our cleverness and other people's stupidity who don't have the wealth of this world. Anyhow, أَوَلَمْ يَعْلَمْ أَنَّ اللَّهَ قَدْ أَهْلَكَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ مِنَ الْقُرُونِ. Didn't he know that before him there were many generations? مَنْ هُوَ أَشَدُّ مِنْهُ قُوَّةً وَأَكْثَرُ جَمْعًا. They had gathered more than him, and they were more powerful than him, and we had destroyed them. No, of course, he didn't take heed. Now, something happened, and that is there was a show of power between Musa and Qarun in his people. Apparently, this Musa was fighting on two fronts. On one front, he was fighting against Pharaoh in Egypt. On the other front, he was fighting against Qarun among his own people. Qarun was actually encouraging Banu Israel to leave Musa. He was saying that the source of all your troubles is Musa. Why your sons are killed, why you have been put in such a situation, it's Musa. Leave Musa, follow me, and I will save you. So he somehow pretended to be the savior of Banu Israel as against Musa. So he wanted to have an ostentatious show of power and telling his people, if you follow me, I will give you, you will be happy, I will give you wealth, everything, you will have jobs, you will be relieved, alleviated of all these problems that Musa has caused for you. It's always like that. Musa now has become a source of trouble, isn't it? Musa has caused all this for you. So what he did, we don't know exactly what happened, but what is mentioned here is like a show of power to somehow defeat Musa and his followers. فَخَرَجَ عَلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ فِي زِينَتِهِ. Once he decided, as I said, we don't know the details of this story. However, he decided to come out with all his wealth and ostentatious show of wealth, power, that this is me and that is Musa. The same thing that Pharaoh was saying. أَمْ أَنَا خَيْرٌ مِنْ هَذَا الَّذِي هُوَ مَهِينٌ وَلَا يَكَادُ يُبِينُ. Who's better, me or Musa? This man even cannot talk. And he's, even among his people, he's humiliated. Of course, Qarun was humiliating Musa. So which one is better? And here Qarun was doing this. Now imagine what was Musa and his followers were experiencing during these all years. You see, we are very impatient. The little difficulty that comes to us, we say, we submit. No, Sanctions, okay, yes, of course. Whatever you say, we do. Whatever you say, we do. We do not have the patience, the resilience, the resistance. And this is what, of course, made Musa and his followers to win. بما صبروا, as we mentioned. We gave them victory because they were patient. Patience always brings victory. So here, فخرج على قومه في زينته قال الذين يريدون الحياة الدنيا, who were the majority of Banu Israel, of course, those who were after the life of this world. يا ليت لنا مثل ما أوتي قارون. So they were completely submitted, deceived. We wish we had something like Qarun. And Qarun was saying, you follow me, you will have some share of it. إنه لذو حظ عظيم. وقال الذين أوتوا العلم, those who were given knowledge. Well, of course, for certain we know those who were given knowledge were Musa and Harun. And maybe some of their followers, they're very close, like Yusha, very close. They were given knowledge, of course. These are الذين أوتوا العلم is a very technical term used in the Quran. It's used for very certain people, very, very noble individuals. So قال الذين أوتوا العلم, Musa and Harun and Yusha and people like him, ويلكم ثواب الله خير لمن آمن وعمل صالحا ولا يلقاها إلا الصابرون. The thawab of Allah that He gives to people, either in this world or in Akhirah, is much better than what Qarun is given. وَمَا يُلَقَّاهَا. No one can understand this, can comprehend this, except sabirun, those who are patient. Now, here, this show of power should have been somehow responded by Musa. And Musa didn't have any means to respond. What could he do? He came out, he came to crush Musa and his followers in this way, to once and for all finish Musa's story and expel him from Banu Israel. This is what he planned by coming out like this. And Musa didn't have anyone to respond, but of course he had the support of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there's a very beautiful story. When the people of Qawm Lut, they went to his home trying to get his guests. He said, لَوْ أَنَّ لِي بِكُمْ قُوَّةً. If just I had power to fight you. If just I had power. And it said in tradition that Jibreel was hearing. Of course, one of those guests was Jibreel, wasn't he? He said, you don't know what power is sitting behind you. What power is sitting here behind you? When he said, لَوْ أَنَّ لِي بِكُمْ قُوَّةً. Now, of course, Musa himself didn't have anything to do to respond by, but Allah was watching, wasn't it? فَخَسَفْنَا بِهِ وَبِدَارِهِ الْأَرْضِ. His palace and himself. An earthquake came. Very interesting. Again, like the miracles which Allah showed to Pharaoh, only his palace and his treasure were swallowed by the earth. And that was all. Finished. Qarun finished. وَخَسَفْنَا بِهِ وَبِدَارِهِ الْأَرْضِ فَمَا كَانَ لَهُ مِنْ فِئَةٍ يَنْصُرُونَهُ مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ وَمَا كَانَ مِنَ الْمُنْتَصِرِينَ. So he didn't have anyone to help him against Allah, of course. No, who can help someone against Allah? Now, this was, of course, a big victory again. And this made Pharaoh even more decided to kill Musa. He had placed hopes on half of Qarun. Now Qarun is gone. And you can imagine the next morning, after he was swallowed by the earth, you can imagine the next morning. It is as if Qarun never existed, isn't it? Just a big relief for Banu Israel and followers of Musa. And those who were, of course, saying that we wished we were like Qarun, وَأَصْبَحَ الَّذِينَ تَمَنَّوْا مَكَانَهُ بِالْأَمْسِ يَقُولُونَ وَيْكَأَنَّ اللَّهَ يَبْسُطُ الرِّزْقَ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ وَيَقْدِرُ. Really, it looks like, still they do not have firm belief, isn't it? It looks like that, yes, Allah gives and takes. لولا أن من الله علينا لخسف بنا. Allah really saved us. Had He not saved us, the earth would have swallowed us as well. وَيْكَأَنَّهُ لَا يُفْلِحُ الْكَافِرُ. So this story tells us the situation among Banu Israel. It gives us some perspective, some understanding of what was going on among Banu Israel while Musa was under that trial, Musa and his followers, by Pharaoh. Now, what was going on in palace of Pharaoh? What was going on there? Another story tells us what was going on in palace of Pharaoh. Now, this story is in Surah Mu'min, which is, of course, named after Mu'min al Pharaoh. This man is not named. And it's very interesting that what Allah quotes from him here is like what the prophets say. I mean, it's statements of the prophets rather than an ordinary man, and shows that this was a man of deep knowledge and deep spirituality. In Surah Mu'min, Surah chapter 40, verses number 26 onwards. Now, I said in Surah Qasas, it is said, إِلَى فِرْعَوْنَ وَهَامَانَ وَقَارُونَ. It's in Surah Mu'min, sorry. إِلَى فِرْعَوْنَ وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا مُوسَى بِآيَاتِنَا وَسُلْطَانٍ مُبِينٍ إِلَى فِرْعَوْنَ وَهَامَانَ وَقَارُونَ فَقَالُوا سَاحِرٌ كَذَّابٌ. So, Qarun was also saying that Musa is a magician. Qarun was also saying that Musa is a liar. And one other lesson, this religion,
like Abu Lahab.
like Abu Lahab. And this shows Judaism is not a racial religion, isn't it? It doesn't belong to a race. Among the Jews, so to speak, at that time, there were those who rejected Musa, and Allah actually classifies them as followers of Pharaoh. And that story which I mentioned, فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ بِالْحَقِّ مِنْ عِنْدِنَا قَالُوا اقْتُلُوا أَبْنَاءَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مَعَهُ. When he came with haqq, they say, okay, we kill those who follow him, the sons of those who follow him. And the story now here, apparently this is after Pharaoh has been disappointed from Qarun. And this is the last option on the table, isn't it? When they say all options are on the table, now this is the last option, to kill Musa. Again, he doesn't know what will happen if he kills Musa, what will happen, but now he really wants to kill Musa because there is no other choice for him. However, the way the verse is mentioned here shows that there were opposition in his palace for killing Musa. Among his mala', there were people who opposed the idea of killing Musa, and the strongest and the most important was his cousin, this Mu'min al Pharaoh, who, of course, up till now it was with the pretext that if we kill Musa, we don't know what happened, we have to try other means and such things. But here, قال فرعون ذروني أقتل موسى. Let me, this leave me or let me means that the opposition should be silenced. No opposition. وقال فرعون ذروني أقتل موسى وليدعُ ربه. Okay, you say that you are frightening me from his Lord, let him call his Lord. I will fight with his Lord as well. إني أخاف أن يبدل دينكم. He is now changing your religion because many Egyptians were following Musa now because of all those miracles they had seen, especially after the destruction of Qarun. أو أن يظهر في الأرض الفساد. Or he may create corruption on the earth. He may just throw us out. This was corruption, of course, in their eyes. He may throw us out of our land. And of course, this he said when he had summoned Musa to somehow give him the last deadline, so to speak. وقال موسى إني أذت بربي وربكم من كل متكبر لا يؤمن بيوم الحساب. After all these signs you have seen, still you do not believe, still you are arrogant. then what I can do? You want to kill me? I just seek refuge with Allah, my Lord and your Lord. Now here, that man who up till now was concealing his faith came forth, because this is now the very, very crucial point. When Musa was almost being killed here, probably Pharaoh wanted just to kill Musa in the same session, the way Musa is speaking, إِنِّي أُذْتُ بِرَبِّي وَرَبِّكُمْ, I seek refuge in my Lord and your Lord. Apparently Pharaoh just wanted to kill Musa in that very hour. Now this man, the cousin, comes forth and he conceals, he reveals what he used to conceal before. وَقَالَ رَجُلٌ مُؤْمِنٌ مِنْ آلِ فِرْعَوْنَ يَكْتُمُ إِيمَانَهُ. He was concealing his faith previously. Now he came forth and said, أَتَقْتُلُونَ رَجُلًا أَنْ يَقُولَ رَبِّيَ اللَّهُ. You kill someone who says, my Lord is Allah, the Creator. وَقَدْ جَاءَكُمْ بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ مِنْ رَبِّكُمْ. After all these signs that you saw, وَإِنْ يَكُ كَاذِبًا فَعَلَيْهِ كَذِبُهُ. If he's, now still he's talking about Musa as others, isn't it? Us and him. And this is a very clever type of tactic he's using, that we, us, the Egyptians, the Copts, we are trying to kill someone who is not related to us. Why shouldn't we let them go? Why should we? He just says that my Lord is Allah. Okay, وَإِن يَكُ كَاذِبًا فَعَلَيْهِ كَذِبُهُ. If he's telling lie, his lie would fall upon him. وَإِن يَكُ صَادِقًا يُصِبْكُمْ بَعْضُ الَّذِي يَعِدُكُمْ. What if he's truthful? What will happen? Didn't you see what happened before? So some of the things that he is threatening you with will come over you. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَهْدِي مَنْ هُوَ مُسْرِفٌ كَذَّابٌ. Now, he brings on in the glory of Egypt, the history, the culture, the civilization. يَا قَوْمِ لَكُمُ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمَ ظَاهِرِينَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Look what we have today. We have power, we have kingdom, we have all these things. فَمَنْ يَنْصُرُنَا مِنْ بَأْسِ اللَّهِ إِنْ جَاءَنَا. What will happen if we kill him? And apparently what he's saying, that let them go. Just why should we fight against someone that if we kill him, we don't know what happens? So he's now talking on behalf of his own people, actually, not on side of Musa. He's talking on behalf of, and this is a very, very good tactic that he is using. So, فَمَنْ يَنْثُرُنَا مِنْ بَأْسِ اللَّهِ إِنْ جَاءَنَا قَالَ فِرْعَوْنُ مَا أُرِيكُمْ إِلَّا مَا أَرَى وَمَا أَهْدِيكُمْ إِلَّا سَبِيلَ الرَّشَادِ. Pharaoh said, no, you are wrong, I'm right. I say what I do. And then this man starts to not argue with Pharaoh, try to convince his people. And one very interesting thing he mentions about Yusuf, and this shows the position of Yusuf in Egypt. وَقَالَ وَلَقَدْ جَاءَكُمْ يُوسُفُ مِنْ قَبْلُ بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ فَمَا زِلْتُمْ فِي شَكٍّ مِمَّا جَاءَكُمْ بِهِ. And Yusuf previously came with clear signs, and always you were in doubt about his mission. Of course, the king was supporting him, but you did not, the whole nation, they did not believe in him. They were in doubt. حَتَّى إِذَا حَلَكَ قُلْتُمْ لَنْ يَبْعَثَ اللَّهُ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ رَسُولًا. When he died, of course, he was buried with respect because he was supported by the king. However, you said, okay, he was a prophet, he came, and no one else will come. كَذَلِكَ يُضِلُّ اللَّهُ مَنْ هُوَ مُسْرِفٌ مُرْتَابٌ. Now, here, again, the position of this man and the argument drives Pharaoh to a very foolish decision. وَقَالَ فِرْعَوْنُ يَا هَامَانُ ابْنِ لِي صَرْحًا لَعَلِّي أَبْلُغُ الْأَسْبَابَ. Okay, you say that his God may destroy us. Where is his God? And of course, Musa was always saying, our God cannot be seen. Our God is in heavens, in the sense that if you want to, he is high. This is the meaning of God is in heavens. He's high. He said, okay, the God is in heaven. Ya Haman ibn li sarhan, make me a tower, and I go and see whether the the God of Musa is there, أسباب السماوات فأطلع إلى إله موسى. To see, أطلع means to see by my eyes. To see the Ilah of Musa. وإني لأظنه كاذبا. I think that he is a liar. Again, despite all those signs that he had seen. وَكَذَلِكَ زُيِّنَ لِفِرْعَوْنُ سُوءُ عَمَلِهِ. And in this way, if someone does wrong, that wrong idea creates wrong imaginations, creates wrong moves, and this is how what happened. Anyhow, this man was also killed. He was killed. I don't want to go through the long story. And now there is no one who could stop Pharaoh killing Musa. But after killing this man, Pharaoh again hesitated what to do. And something happened that we don't know for what reason, whether it was the bidding of Pharaoh or bidding of Musa. And that is in Surah Yunus. Look what Allah says in Surah Yunus. Verse number 87 in Surah Yunus. وأوحينا إلى موسى وأخيه هارون وأخيه أن تبوأ لقومكما بمصر بيوتا واجعلوا بيوتكم قبلة وأقيموا الصلاة وبشر المؤمنين. Now, Allah tells Musa the time is close, time is nearing. So go and reside in Misr, in Memphis. We said that they were living in, not in the mainland, they were living in an island close to Memphis. Now they are, Allah tells them, move to Memphis. Why is this? Because if they wanted to flee overnight, they couldn't flee from where they were. They could flee from the mainland easily before Pharaoh could stop them. And why Pharaoh allowed them to do, they made camps in Egypt, in the main city. Now, there are two possibilities. Either Pharaoh asked them that you have to go out of your land, everything, all your farms, everything confiscated. I make camps here, come and as slaves live here. This is the stronger possibility. Another possibility is that Musa going to Pharaoh and saying that if you do not allow to come and stay here, a calamity will come. But Pharaoh wouldn't take heed of that as before. So apparently, again I emphasize apparently, what happened, Pharaoh, to again convince Banu Israel to leave Musa, he threatened them that I will confiscate all your lands, farms, everything. You come and live in camps, just as ordinary workers. You work as builders in buildings, and you will have a terrible life. And of course, Allah said, this is good, go to Musa, go and take houses in Misr. وأوحينا إلى موسى وأخيه أن تبوأ لقومكما بمصر بيوتا. Take houses in Misr. Now Pharaoh didn't know, again, he was making a plot against himself, that by doing this he's somehow facilitating the exodus of Banu Israel from Egypt. You see, all the time it's like that. He facilitated everything for Musa and for his people. وَاجْعَلُوا بُيُوتَكُمْ قِبْلَةً. Now the commandment for Salat comes. Just like the commandment in Islam comes for Salat, here the commandment for Salat comes. Where to pray? Towards which place? وَاجْعَلُوا بُيُوتَكُمْ قِبْلَةً. Your houses, of course your previous houses, which is in the north, isn't it? The houses that you lived in, used to live in, make that Qibla, which actually the place they were would face towards Jerusalem. If we see the geography, they come from the north, they come live a bit south apart, and if they look towards their houses that they used to live before, that would be towards Jerusalem. So وَاجْعَلُوا بُيُوتَكُمْ قِبْلَةً. It's as if Allah said, you now have to establish salat, probably in Jama'ah. Which direction? Where to? Towards your house. Because it was very difficult for everyone to know where Jerusalem's direction is. But everyone knew where is the Goshen. And they could just face towards their own houses. So, وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَى مُوسَى وأخيه أن تبوأ لقومكما بمصر بيوتا واجعلوا بيوتكم قبلة وأقيموا الصلاة وبشر المؤمنين. Now the time is near. Give good news to mu'mineen that you will be saved very soon. You will be helped very soon. Now here, up till now, apparently Musa has not cursed Pharaoh, despite all those things. And this shows the patience of people like Musa, you see. Here Musa starts to curse Pharaoh. وَقَالَ مُوسَى رَبَّنَا. And especially, and this shows that they were forced to leave their houses by Pharaoh. They were brought in a prison-like camp to stay there. And this وَقَالَ وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَى مُوسَى وَأَخِيهِ probably means that we told them, do not resist, go. Go and stay in Egypt. This is good, actually. Stay in Misr, in the city. Now, وَقَالَ مُوسَى رَبَّنَا إِنَّكَ آتَيْتَ فِرْعَوْنَ وَمَلَأَهُ زِينَةً وَأَمْوَالًا فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. My Lord, what have you given Pharaoh and his people? Zina. Now, Zina, I translate Zina as civilization. Whatever it contains, wealth, knowledge, science, culture, philosophy, poetry, all these as together as civilization is Zina. You have given them. They have everything. وَأَمْوَالًا فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. What they do with it? رَبَّنَا لِيُضِلُّوا عَنْ سَبِيلَكَ. They just divert people from your path. This is what they do with your gifts. Again, you see, here, although Pharaoh has gained all that by oppression, Musa says, you have given them all these things. Again, because it's Allah who gives everything. رَبَّنَا اطْمِسْ عَلَىٰ أَمْوَالِهِمْ. Destroy their wealth. وَاشْتُدْ عَلَىٰ قُلُوبِهِمْ. Now, destroy their wealth is not important. That's nothing. But this one is the curse. وَاشْتُدْ عَلَىٰ قُلُوبِهِمْ. Harden their hearts. فَلَا يُؤْمِنُوا حَتَّى يَرَوُا الْعَذَابَ الْأَلِيمِ. It either means they would not believe until they see the punishment, or make them not to believe until they see the punishment. But the first possibility is stronger. قَالَ قَدْ أُجِيبَتْ دَعْوَتُكُمَا. Your dua is granted. فَاسْتَقِيمًا. Just persevere. Again, here Allah is giving promise for future, isn't it? فَاسْتَقِيمًا. Persevere. If you do not persevere, everything will be destroyed. وَلَا تَتَّبِعَانِ سَبِيلَ الَّذِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Do not follow the way of those who don't know, who rush, who want everything to come quickly. Do not follow that. Okay. Now, after they were accommodated here, then came the good news. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَى مُوسَى أَنْ أَسْرِ بِعِبَادِي. Of course, Pharaoh is not leaving you to go, but you move overnight. During the night, you move when, of course, the guards are not many. They cannot stop you because Banu Israel themselves were several 100,000 people and they wanted to move. The guards there could not stop them overnight. They needed force, reinforcements and everything. So overnight, you move out. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَى مُوسَى أَنْ أَسْرِ بِعِبَادِي in Surah Taha. وَاضْرِبْ لَهُمْ طَرِيقًا فِي الْبَحْرِ يَبَسًا. Where to go? Which direction? Go towards the sea. Okay, after I go to sea, what happens? The sea will split for you and you go in dry land. يَبَسًا. وَاضْرِبْ لَهُمْ طَرِيقًا فِي الْبَحْرِ يَبَسًا. My Lord, what will happen? I mean, Pharaoh will come after us. He will just destroy us in an hour. لا تخاف دركا ولا تخشى. Do not be afraid of being caught, or do not be afraid of death, of killing. No. So this was given to Musa. أوحينا إلى موسى. Here, of course, in Surah Yunus, it somehow skips all those stories. It says وجاوزنا ببني إسرائيل البحر. We made them pass through the sea. Now, in Surah Shu'ara, more details are given about this exodus, so to speak, of Banu Israel from Egypt. So everyone were informed in a secretive way that tonight is the night that we move out. And we move out silently. We don't want to, the guards of course wouldn't have stopped them, the few guards which were there. So they moved out of the city, and in the morning Pharaoh, when he heard that, he didn't become sad actually. He became happy because he said, now we can kill them. Now is the time. فَأَرْسَلَ فِرْعَوْنُ فِي الْمَدَائِنِ حَاشِرِينَ. How could we kill them? If they resist, what happens? He said, I will mobilize a force that in 1 hour we can finish them. So he sent emissaries to cities to bring all the army of Egypt together to come and finish Banu Israel. فَأَرْسَلَ فِرْعَوْنُ فِي الْمَدَائِنِ حَاشِرِينَ. He sent emissaries. حاشرين means those who mobilize the army. What they said, إِنَّ هَؤُلَاءِ لَشِرْذَمَةٌ قَلِيلٌ. These are a very small group of people. وَإِنَّهُمْ لَنَا لَغَائِظُونَ. And they have made us really angry. وَإِنَّهُمْ لَنَا لَغَائِظُونَ. And what it says, وَإِنَّا لَجَمِيعٌ حَاضِرُونَ. And we are many, the whole world fears us. And always, of course, the superpowers talk like that, isn't it? The whole world fears us. What are these people? What are these bunch? So, وَإِنَّا لَجَمِيعٌ حَاضِرُونَ. Now, very beautifully, Allah mentions, look how we brought them out of their holes. Those chieftains, commanders of the armies, people who were suppressing everyone in different cities. We wanted to bring actually the most prominent people, afladul qawm, so to speak in Arabic. I don't know what would be in English. Afladul qawm, the elites. We wanted to bring all of them out from throughout the Egypt. We wanted to, actually we had nominated those we wanted to destroy. فَأَخْرَجْنَاهُمْ مِنْ جَنَّاتٍ وَعُيُونٍ. We brought them out of their gardens, the springs that they had in those gardens, وَكُنُوزٍ and treasures. We brought them out of that. وَمَقَامٍ كَرِيمٍ and positions that they had. So they came. Banu Israel moved towards the sea, towards the Red Sea. Of course, they used towards the Red Sea. This Aqaba branch of the Red Sea, they moved to, and this is where they passed actually. And it was not the river, it was the sea. The river couldn't have contained all the Egyptians to drown them. It was a long distance, several kilometers, that the army of Pharaoh entered. And then they were destroyed. We'll come to the story later. So they moved towards the sea, and Pharaoh was not in a hurry. He let them move for a couple of weeks until the whole army was mobilized. They came from every place in Egypt. Several 100,000 probably of his army came. Actually, the whole army of Egypt he mobilized to. That's why he sent أَرْسَلَ فِرْعَوْنُ فِي الْمَدَائِنِ حَاشِرِينَ, and he went after them. Now, Pharaoh was sure, of course he had eyes, he had sent people to see where are they moving, how are they traveling, with what pace, with what speed, what are their provisions, their arms, ammunition, everything. He was watching. And probably he was perplexed. What is Musa doing? He's going towards the sea. How? Where are the ships? The ships? Where are the carriers which wants to carry these people to the other side? And all these gave him more incentive, more happy, that now they are going towards their death. They are going towards the sea. They stop there. They cannot pass. Probably Musa doesn't know where he's going. And this was not only Pharaoh. His people also thought, where are you taking us? Where are we going? We are going towards the sea. What else? Pharaoh will come after us. He will kill us. He will finish us. So again, on two fronts, Musa had to, of course, Pharaoh is not asking him anything, but especially to his people. And this is mentioned in Surah Shu'ara. We'll come to that later, and that his people, especially when they saw Pharaoh and his army, they were so agitated and so embarrassed that what to do now, that inshallah we leave that for next week, for next session. So inshallah, this encounter of Musa and his people and the army of Egypt, inshallah we leave it for next session. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa alihi tahirin.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sheikh. Time is for questions, please.
Thank you very much. You mentioned Qarun, Pharaoh, and Haman. What's the story behind Haman? Who was he?
Haman was the vizier of Pharaoh. He was the first minister.
Okay.
And
So he was always with him. It's the
always with him, and also someone who was one of the prominent decision makers. And that's why he is mentioned. He was not just someone following Pharaoh. He was a decision maker as well. And he was head of the army and all these things. So that's why he is mentioned along with Pharaoh. Yeah.
Any other questions, please? Someone?
Is there any trace or sign of Karun's palace today, and whereabouts?
No, it was swollen by the earth, so no sign is left, no. Even if it was not swollen, of course, about, say, more than 3,000 years ago, I don't think so, no. But it was swollen. فَخَسَفْنَا بِهِ وَبِدَارِهِ. He and his palace were swollen by the earth.
May I ask a simple question, if you don't mind, please? Although you will inshallah address this issue in the next session, but because we have reached to this point, apparently that kind of shock that affects Ashab Musa, it affected those close to Musa alayhi salam. It's not only ordinary Bani Israel. Apparently the fear was so intense that affected Ashab Musa. قال أصحاب موسى إنا لمدركون. So does it mean that Musa alayhi salam did not prepare them for the unexpected? Or was he himself unaware of what's happened, but he was full of trust in God subhanahu wa ta'ala?
Yeah. Apparently, God had not revealed the details of how the sea was going to split. So when they reached there, they had to wait. And Musa just was waiting, trusting in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Ashab Musa were coming to him. Now Ashab Musa may mean those very prominent,
Or very close to him, yeah.
very close or very prominent in Banu Israel, who were not necessarily very close. But yes, even those who were very close, even Musa himself didn't know how this is going to happen. And why they had to wait for Pharaoh to come, we'll mention it next week. But they had to wait, and Allah didn't show them the way. And He had not revealed to him that just strike the sea with your staff. He hadn't revealed to him until Pharaoh came. So we'll inshallah deal with this. عليكم السلام.
You mentioned that Musa made a dua, اللهم اشدد على قلوبهم على فرعون. And of course there's lots of instances where you make sort of it's quite a harsh dua. I know who Fir'aun was. And sometimes you think, well, why didn't he ask for hidayah rather than the opposite, to ask for qulub to become even harder?
Well, he was actually asking all these years for hidayah for them. Probably after they forced them to leave their lands and to camp as prisoners in Egypt. This is the curse that Musa made, seeing all those things. So that was the final, that was the final straw.
Just one other question. You mentioned it's Surah 40 is Surah Mu'min, but in most Musahif it's called Surah Ghafir.
Yeah, it has two names. It has two names, yeah. Because it begins with, what is it? Hamim Tanzilul Kitab min Allahil Aziz al-Rahim, Ghafir al-Dhanb wa Qabil al-Tawb. That's why it's called Ghafir, yeah.
Just in response to the question, there is an ayah, a verse in Quran Kareem. It's about whether to keep hoping that others might get into the right path. There is ayah in Quran Kareem says, قُلْ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا يَغْفِرُوا لِلَّذِينَ لَا يَرْجُونَ أَيَّامَ اللَّهِ. So the general direction or instruction to Prophet Muhammad at least is to forgive and to keep waving the platform for others to come. But apparently this was the last straw.
Yeah, after all these signs, as I said, Pharaoh was clearly waging a war against God. He knew that Musa is from God, and he was waging war thinking that he could defeat God. This was the foolishness that had come to him.
Okay, so apparently that's it for tonight. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you.
And we will, inshallah, be glad to see him again in 2 weeks' time. Inshallah. وصلى الله على محمد وعلى الطاهرين.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى